Alright everybody, here to do a movie review for DC's Wonder Woman. And in case you're wondering, saw it twice. Yeah. Overall impression, really the best word I could think of, it's kind of cheesy, is wonderful. This was a wonderful movie. It was exciting. It had a great story. Truth be told, I'm kind of a sucker for origin stories. I really love origin stories, so this one, it's an origin story of Wonder Woman, so I loved that. And I will say, hands down, the best movie for the DC Universe. The best one. You might be thinking, well, that's not really saying much. Man of Steel was pretty good. Batman vs Superman was horrible. I know a lot of people don't really like Suicide Squad. but it is, hands down, the best movie. And what I think it does is it gives a lot of hope for that DC Universe. It's got a much lighter feel, but it still keeps some of the same tones, so it feels like it belongs to that DC universe still. But it's just happier. It's brighter. It's got great humor in it and lots of wonderful things. So, Wonder Woman, yes, I say yes. It is wonderful, and you'll enjoy it. So I'd say go watch it. Okay, question, why? I'm gonna go into some more detail here. I'll try not to be too specific, so I don't want to throw a lot of spoilers at you. But I do want to maybe share a little bit more about why it's such a great movie. One thing that I think is just fabulous about it is its storytelling. It really has just a great pace. A great balance of action and humor and character development. And I'll touch more on the characters a little bit later, but they're very well developed. So, before I get into those characters, I want to talk about the action. Because holy cow, this movie has great action. I can't recommend seeing it in 3D because I haven't seen it in 3D, but I would think it would be really awesome in 3D. Might be a cool thing to check out. But the action is, it's very stylized. Patty Jenkins did an incredible job with it. She really did carry that tone of action that we saw in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, but didn't overdo it. It wasn't ever too much. There's like really cool slow-mos in it, but it's not only the slow-mos that kind of take over the action. So I thought it was a great balance and just really cool action moments. Like you might remember that really cool action scene. This is going back to Superman Returns where that bullet like hits him in the eye and it's just like, whoa. The only shot I actually enjoyed in that whole movie. Cool stuff like that. Batman vs Superman where Batman's thrown in that room and he takes out all those guys and it's like this cool huge scene of takeouts. Stuff like that. That's what you can look forward to in Wonder Woman. Is great action and not just a random one. The whole movie is great. Side characters I really felt did a great job. They weren't random. They weren't just thrown at you. Like they had enough development that I felt like I could connect with them, which I thought was a great thing. And it really helped add to the whole feel of this movie. Not a side character, definitely a main character, but actor Chris Pine just nails it in this movie. He is awesome. The girls love him. He's fun. He's endearing. I don't know if I want to use the word endearing. We'll get rid of that. He's fun. He's charming. That's the word I want to use. He's fun. He's charming, and he's the perfect companion to what they're doing with Wonder Woman here. And I'll have to wait when I explain about Wonder Woman. But it's awesome the way the two work together. And Chris Pine really is just dynamite. Does a great job. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, loved her in Batman vs Superman. Really did. I thought she was the best part of that movie. So with that being said, how would she do? I mean, that was a very small role in that movie. So I think it's kind of easy to own the show when you're only in it for a little bit. So how would she do carrying a whole movie? Man, I thought she did fantastic. She's kind of, it's her origin story. So she's coming away from this island where she's been raised to battle and to fight as an Amazonian, and never been around men. And so this whole movie, you get this kind of fish out of water humor, and it's just great. It doesn't ever become absurd, in my opinion. It wasn't ever absurd. It wasn't ever too much. Again, just a great balance. And you see her learning new things, seeing new things, experiencing new things in a very fun way. Now that being said, cliche-wise, you would probably throw the male lead to be somebody completely the opposite of that. Somebody who's completely into the world, who's not naive at all, but does all of the things of the world. And Chris Pine seeing his days on Star Trek, you might think that's exactly the kind of character he's going to be. But I didn't feel he was. I really felt he was the great balance, and for a great reason. A great balance to her naivety to the world, but in such a warm and good way. It's just so much goodness there. So I loved that humor about her, and I loved, and this is where I wanted to use that word, endearing. Just so endearing. Her naivety, her pure goodness and pure desire to see good and to do good and to help others, it really is just endearing to her, and such a strong quality. And one thing that Patty Jenkins did an amazing job with this movie was she didn't sexualize this character. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, and a lot of times not wearing, a ton of clothes, but they did it in such a way that I felt like it was classy and it was handled very cleanly. And it didn't feel like they were just sexualizing this character to try to sell her that way. So I loved that, and I loved that with the other Amazonians that we saw as well. But that wasn't the point. Now, there are sexual references and even some humor up that aisle, but I also thought that was handled well. It wasn't vulgar or obscene in the way that it was done. I thought it was handled very, very well. So applause on that one. So we've got the main characters, we've got the side characters. Well, what about the villains? The villains, I loved it. I felt like the villains gave us a good, nostalgic feel to those classic old villains. They're a little campy, a little bit cheesy even at times. But again, somehow Patty Jenkins found a good balance to where it wasn't overdone, it wasn't over the top. And in the end, I think you'll all agree that it was worth it to have the villains be that way. So, great stuff. Great action, great battle, but not just little stuff throughout, but even a great end finale to finish the movie. That's seeing Wonder Woman just be awesome and continue to be more and more awesome. That's what this movie does. So, what's the point? What's the takeaway? There's a lot of takeaways from this movie. But the key point, and she points this out at the end of the movie, is the love. Is seeing the love. Fighting for the good, believing in the good, and knowing that that good is in there. And I think it's a message that our world really could use and that we could all benefit from. To go out there and do more to help other people and to have more love for the goodness that's within all of us. Something that always impresses me and my wife as we travel is just seeing goodness in people everywhere we go. So we know it's there, and this movie I think does a great job of capturing that, taking this Wonder Woman and putting her in a new environment, having her learn all about us and the world, and seeing the good in it and knowing that it's worth fighting for. So that's Wonder Woman. In case you're wondering, saw it twice.